Hi, this is IK. Welcome to the React Redux Another Point of View continues. This application there is 7 features: decrement, increment, add amount, add new post, author, users, here is content of that post, save post, here is that post reaction, a view post, comment rating, comment 5, author comment text, save comment, comments replay on that to that comments, author replay text, save replay, here it is, add a new replay, author replay text, save replay 1, it is replay to replay. It's all features. Every features one slice. Every features is properties of state in store. It is properties of that state. State in store, there is 7 properties. And that properties is a state of that features. Let's go to script. Here it is. We look at counter one features. Counter one is counter slice. Okay, yes. Here it is. It is counter one slice. Architecture is import and declare initial state about counter one, and here is all about reducer and action, reducer and action, but also how create new state. Store state, how create, but it is about it is story about action, all about reducer and action. 7 reducers, 7 features, 7 reducers. Every features 1 reducer, every reducer 1 slice. Counter one, now counter. Also there is a counter and a counter slice. Counter here. Counter I call this counter 1, where we have by 1 up and by 1 down. But add amount I call counter, only counter, not counter 1. Yeah. This is counter 1. Features, this is add amount. Here is add amount. We can write number what we want to add amount. And let's go to see that script. Counter.js and counter slice. Counter slice, there is import create slice. It is totally, it is same, equal as counter 1, but architecture is equal all others slice documents. Import create slice. It is always create slice is here. Create slice is here. Function what coming from Redux toolkit and that function creates slice. Here it is, declaration of a counter slice equal declaration of object counter slice equal a function create slice, and that function create slice, it is there is a parameter object, this object for parameter, and in that object we have standard like a name of that slice is counter slice. Initial state, we declare here what is initial state. It is a value 0. Initial state is object. Value of that object is 0 at this moment. Initial state. And reducers. Reducers, we now see that reducers is in plural. And here is we create this script like this: increment by amount. Reducers is this object, and there is only one property inside that object: increment by amount. Equal, that it is columns here, and arrow function, there is a parameter state and action. Before we didn't need action, right? But that action exists because we only add one. We know value, but look at now, we don't know value action payload, and we have action.payload. It will be number what we write in input box, add amount. Amount will be what we write, and it is variable. It is not constant, non-constant. It is variable, and because we see here action payload. And reducer, there is a input state and action. Every reducer, there is input state and action. And here we first time write state and action, and example before we write only state, but action was known, payload was known, it was 1. Look at here. Counter 1 slice. It was 1 plus 1. It was directly mutate of state with 1. But IMER library will mutate by immutable kind this statement. Okay, here is 1 value 1, but in counter slice we don't know number, and it means that we state, it is state, original momentary state in store, and value of that state will be up, will be, that state would be added, would be add action payload. Here it is. Action payload is minus 44 and add amount 0. Here it is. It is action payload. Increment by amount. We see that as members of this object. It is only one member concretely, and we have arrow function state action, but increment by amount will be in the end action creator, function action creator. Here is properties, here is increment by amount in counter.js, counter.js, counter slice, counter.js, counter1.js, which is increment decrement, but counter and counter slice, and here is a counter. Here is a set increment amount on change. It is event parameter of arrow function, and set increment amount is in body of that arrow function. Set increment amount, and it is function, and parameter is a target value. And it is a set. No, I spoke about increment by amount. It is a set. It is a use. It is use state story. But dispatch method, parameter of dispatch method is increment by amount, action creator. Dispatch take action, we call that, we say dispatch take action and bring action to reducer. But when we look at what is action, action is object, and somebody must create that object. Action, there is a type of action, and there is a payload. That object, action object, must somebody create. We don't see until now, and here it is increment by amount. Dispatch, in parameter there is action creator, it is function, increment by amount. Parameter of increment by amount is increment value. Increment value is increment value is increment amount, but we must create a new. We must create. We create here a new object equal number. We must convert increment amount in a number, because when we write all what we write in input box, it is string. Always it is string. We type number, but it is string because coming from input box. Because of that, we must write this statement. Name of new object, increment value equal number is function, JavaScript function. For parameter, it is increment amount. It is value what we must convert in a number. It is value in a numbering, but must be, we must use number to convert it in number. And because of that, we have increment value, and because of that, here it is increment value. That increment value, dispatch method take to reducer, but it is not only increment value. We must have type of action, and we must have payload. Increment value is payload, but where is action? Where is a type of action? Type of action is construction. A type of action is a construction what use increment by amount action creator. Let's go to see, not here, but in slice, increment by amount. Here is a type of action, and the type of action would be increment by amount and counter increment by amount and counter. Let's go to see that. F12 on keyboard. Redux. Here is Redux. Here is Redux, and we want to we go to posts. Here is here it is, for example, 10. Add amount. Look at here. Counter increment by amount. I click here, and we will see this is counter 14. Counter 14. Value 14. Now 20. Add amount. Again down. Click. Counter increment by amount. Here it is 34. And what we see here, it is action type, and action type, create action creator. All that happen on the slice behind, in the background, behind of what our eye see. We Redux toolkit help us to do less as possible, coding less as possible, scripting less as possible, and because of that, syntax is as that, and that syntax is grammar of that Redux React script, JavaScript, and that syntax we must learn like that. I said that is the best remember and achievement and take care about architecture and remember architecture. After that, syntax, and understand every part of that, understand what to do. Again, I repeat, nothing new about variable, object, array. It is exist in the now. JavaScript 6 is nothing new in that, in background, in virtual machine. It all exists, but in syntax is new. In syntax is big new. Before we have a name of object, and in curly brackets we have a method and properties. Every object there is a method and properties must have less. The less possible must have one of that, or one properties, or one or one method. Method is function, and every object there is a method and function, method, function, and properties. Now in JavaScript is all the same. Object can have properties and can have a function, but we don't know write as before, and syntax was different. There is one thing also I want to explain, but resume here. Action is object. What have a object? There is a member named action, type of action type. There is that construction is name of reducer, post, or replies one, replies slash, and concretely action creator, name of action creator. With that slash, you look at counter 1 slash decrement, counter 1 slash increment. Counter 1 is name of reducer, decrement is name of action creator. It is type, action type. And here is right, we can see that concrete, that objects. Let's go back to script. Counter slice, every counter slice, here it is increment by amount, and we have here two input in increment by amount. Here is description of type, what of action. Action would be add action payload to state. Which state? State counter. We have 7 properties. One state in store. That state there is 7 properties. Every property is a state of some reducer. Reducer, there is a name counter here. Counter, and that state of that counter we call in this element, this component, a React component, that state, this is count. Count is state of counter. Counter, reducer counter, slice counter have state, what we call, that state we call count. We call count and write here. Count. In counter 1 properties, we call that also count. Here it is. Also count. Back again to counter 1. I like to speak about Redux. I like Redux. I like React. And I was at the beginning very, very confused. And who follow all this video was probably confused as me, because that descriptions of same word, one time we said that is object, next time it is a function, object, function, variable. All that together is very, very confused. And now, step by step, how I get ahead and thinking and have experience example by example, I step by step I have less and less confused. And counter 1, I want something to see in counter 1. Yes, in counter1.js we have here function, but in counter.js we have also function. Okay, I can now here create here to do something. For example, export, it is a function component. I now export a constant. I now convert it. It is syntax. I speak only about syntax, but all would be same in function, in feature. Features would be same, all would be same, but syntax would be different. Constant name of function is counter. Counter. Name of function is counter. I write it with okay, I'll see later. And word function, and I change with this. And counter, there is no parameter, a counter object equal arrow function, parameter nothing, but there is no name. It is anonymous. I clear name because that name is here now. It is object, name of object is. I clear this. And in curly brackets, I have all like before. All it is curly brackets, nothing touch. I don't need nothing touch here. For example, at this moment, I don't remember, does here go a small c or small or capital letter? Do you know? Good. Counter, I now have capital letter, and when I click in any other, for example, add a comment form, yes, look at it, it's camel kind, it is add comment form, capital letter, every word is a capital letter, but first letter is capital. Back to counter.js. Capital letter is good. Counter, it is one word, begin with capital. It is, we said that constant counter, it means declaration. We declare what object? We declare object. And nothing changed. We now have object, all, and that object is equal arrow function. Because of that, all the time, my course and all the time of teaching about reducer, in any courses in the internet, you must have confusion here, because counter object is equal function. But we in object programming before, we have object and function can be only inside object, can be only method of object. Never, never. When we spoke about object-oriented programming, means object play and function is part of the object. Object can have more function, and object is encapsulation of all inside them. When one object must call other object, and all communication go between object call object, and after that call function inside that object. Cannot go directly to function, no, must call object. And if that function is public, if he have a role to access that object and that function, it will access. But here, object equal function. Object equal function. And arrow function, there is nothing important here. Arrow function is only for simple syntax. Arrow function is the same as every function. There is a parameter, but here that arrow function is anonymous. There is a name here, but that name is name of object. And here is all confusion. Object counter object equal arrow function. What it is? Does it object or it is function? And because of that, I don't know. Do you students who start programming from zero, and my course is first your course, or your first course is any other on the internet about React, don't be confused, because you don't know that story about object-oriented programming. You have only this syntax, this kind of syntax, and you look at focused on that syntax and take it in different kind than I take it. Who are loaded by all that knowledge about programming before, from first step of programming any in the world, from Fortran, from it was 1974, 69 to 74 it was my faculty, and in that time we programmed on the paper with the pen. There is no computer. And that was Fortran. It is some program for math. And all other, we assembler, we programming in assembler. We have exam in assembler and assembly language, assembler. We know we know from scratch in bool algebra construct, create computer. We know program computer, all that on the paper with pen in the hand, and our exam was like that. And from that assembler, it is today assembler, every microprocessor there is over assembler. Every series of microprocessor there is assembler, and high-level language as Java, Python, etc. Must have a translator, must have compiler from high level to machine language to assembler. And from top to bottom, from top level to assembler, in last years, high-level programmers must create compiler. Compiler we call compiler for some kind of language compiler, and for script compiling language, and for script language we call it translator, compiling or translator, and must translate JavaScript. Concretely, there is a translator from high level, what we write here in React, to assembler. But between that, there is a virtual machine also, and that virtual machine is almost complete translation of script, very near assembler. And after that, and it means that JavaScript working on a virtual machine. Virtual machine is a program what is created that JavaScript run on the any computer, any operation system. But there is, and after that, there is only must create, must program from virtual machine to assembler, because assembler is different something, and when JavaScript without virtual machine, JavaScript for any operating system, for any type of microprocessors, must create complete path, complete translation from high level to assembler. But when there is a virtual machine, it is from high level to virtual machine program is the same on every computer. Virtual machine is the same for every kind of operating system, every kind for microprocessor. But if that virtual machine, but if JavaScript can work in, it must have translate that part from virtual machine to assembler also. And only that part is different for different assembler. But it is not all path, all translation. It is only translation from virtual machine to assembler. Okay, get back to back to our React Redux. Another view of point continuous one. A counter. Let's go to back counter one. Here is open that folder, counter one, and here is a function. Again, same experience, same job. Now again, and also you must work like that. Here, Look at now, object, there is no parenthesis. Export counter 1, it is object, and the declaration must have constant variable. It is type of variable. There is 3 types of variable in JavaScript 6. We have experience in this course. We need only constant. Don't need var and other. We don't need other 2 kind of variable. Counter 1, content counter 1 equal arrow function. Instead of word function, we have equal arrow grade. This is instead of a word function. Here is a parameter, and all other is good. Here is declaration object counter 1. It is named as function. And all others is we don't need touch. Counter 1, and when we call a component, it is a function component. It is a function component counter 1, but it is object. Why we don't call that object component? No, because counter 1 equal function. Okay, step by step, with more or less, it is individual thing. More or less job, more or less experience will give us knowledge, practical knowledge and passive knowledge, theoretical knowledge and active knowledge. Active knowledge means that from a blank page, from scratch, we know create architecture. We know create a file system, architecture of every component, architecture of Redux from scratch. It means that we know syntax also. Syntax is a grammar, but in process of learning architecture and all together layout, panoramic view on all application, and after that architecture of every part must be first. And syntax is detail. Architecture is forest. Syntax is tree in that forest. Counter 1. And when we need that React component, we need a function, but we call that counter 1. We don't call that counter 1 parenthesis, this parenthesis, like we call function. We call object, but when we call object, we call function. We call arrow function because object equal function. It is another point of view, continuous one. In the next video, when I hope would have another point of view, continuous 2, continuous 3, maybe this detail this detail about object function I would explain in different kinds. We will see. This moment I don't know. For now, I think that I give here very basic information, very bottom level explanation about object and function, and confusion what we have in Reducer and JavaScript 6, that possibility that object equal function. Even though JavaScript is a full object-oriented program, but that part that is upgrade JavaScript to React library front end, that part we have architecture as we have, syntax as we have. Counter one. Every features there is a component, React component, can be more React components, like we will see in posts, but altogether they are one web page. And and only one counter slice. And only one counter slice. Every feature can have more React component, but must have only one slice document. It is about reducer, action creator, reducer, slice, only one slice. Let's go to, after counter one, counter, what we know, post. Post, here it is, post. Close counter, close counter, counter one, counter comments, future, post. Post is here, post. Look at here. Only one post slice. Begin with the small letter, and the slice is a capital letter. Begin with capital letter. And all other React, it is post slice is about Redux. All other is React component, and post slice is a Redux component. No, but it is a document. It is scripting about Redux, and all others here about this future post is React element, React component. Why we have as many React components here in post? Because look at, we need add comment form. Add comment form and add comment form. We need add comment form because we need this return, and we need HTML element for add comment form. Add comment form. I would start with add post form. Add reply. Add post form. Because we must have first post, and after that comments. But okay, add post form. This is post added. It is action creator coming from post slice. Use dispatch and use a selector. It is function. It is hooks. What coming from package React Redux, because they connect React Redux. use dispatch take action from component and give it to reducer, and use selector take state, concretely state, concretely properties, concretely one of 7 properties, and this is post edit. It is post slash post edit. User selector must give us a state of properties in Redux in store. There is a state, and that state has 7 properties in our now application, and one of that properties is posts. Posts. Look at in post slice. Posts. Here it is. And state dot posts dot value will be all posts. At beginning we have only initial state. In initial object initial state we have 2 posts. 2 posts. 1, 2 posts in initial state. And state dot posts dot value will give us, will give us a 2 post array of 2 posts, and post slice said create post edit action creator, where we have state and action. Look at now this creator, column and curly brackets. In curly brackets there is a separate word reducer. We don't have this in until now. Counter one slice, for example. We have reducers, and after that we have action creator. But now, instead of reducer, we have a name of post added, name of action creator. Look at carefully. You must look at carefully. Always, when I don't say, I don't need said it. You have pen, you have paper, you write it, or you have maybe more screens on your table, and on one screen you look at in this, and in other screen you look at post slice. Look at reducers, curly brackets, again post added, column, curly brackets. At first, it is not change. Look at here, counter slice 1. There is only here two action creator, and after reducer we have a name of one action creator and second action creator. But add in post we have reducer, and post added is from this yellow. it is all reducer is blue curly brackets, yellow, this yellow. Look at now. Post added action creator is all that. There is two function post added. Before reducers there is a two action creator. Now action creator there is a more function. Reducer and prepare. Reducer and prepare. And a yellow. Again, here is a yellow. I must look at here is yellow. I said that this, no, this yellow. This yellow function with this. It is post added, and that post added there is a reducer function and prepare function. Look at reducers, that's plural, is object. There is curly brackets is all in blue curly brackets is one object, it is reducer. But inside that object there is properties. That reducer there is a properties. Post added, reaction added, and post update. Three properties. But not properties, because reaction on added there is a parameter state and action. It is function. One function, second function, post update, and add post added is properties, because equal object, but inside that object, inside that curly brackets, there is a reducer function and a prepare function. We will see what it is. What is it? Prepare. It is post added, and reaction added is function state. It is reducer, and here we have reducer and prepare. Because of this prepare, what we need here, prepare, it is different from other syntax, and post added there is a two function, reducer and prepare. But reaction added is only reducer. There is a reducer, there is no prepare. And here is a post update, it is only reducer, there is no prepare. But this it is reaction added, it is action creator. It will be it is action creator. But state and action here is input for reducer. Input for reducer. Reaction added is there is a parameter what need reducer. Reducer needs state and action. And but who will explain? Who will create action object? Create also reaction added. This function also created, and this function reaction added action creator. If we want to say what to do with action payload, we must have in parameter state, because this action is connect with the state, because action will action take payload and take action type to say reducer what to do with payload. What to do with payload. Post-s slice, name post-s, down, post edit, post update, reaction edit. It is post-s slice dot actions. We have 3 action creator, but this syntax means declaration of the structure assignment. Right side is assign value, left side variable. But here is not one variable, we have 3 variables. We have object, one object left. Inside we have 3 members of that object, and it is 3 variables: post edit, post update, reaction edit, equal assign. Only one assign, post slice dot actions. It is very, very confused grammar for me, but after examples and some practice, I get more and more friendly with this kind of script, this kind of syntax. I hope you are also, as me, more and more friendly. Distraction assignment. Distraction assignment. And here is a very, very explicit, very like a summary of app scripting. Post edit, post update, reaction edit is actions. But actions is properties of post slice actions. But here we don't know concretely what actions, because actions, it is object. Action is object, and the members of that action is type of action and payload. And we must know type and payload. But here we don't see payload, we don't see name of action. Because of that, we must go up and see post-s. Post-s will be in a name of type action. Post-s slash and name of this, what we call action. Name of action post edit. Post slash post edit is action type. But we don't write it. It will create slice, Redux toolkit for us, that we have less job, less coding, less writing. Post-s slash post edit will be action type. Let's go to see action type. It is init position. Now I post, add a new post, title, author, save post. Here it is, post-s. Look at post-s slash post edit. Post-s slash post edit. Click, and we have post-s. Here it is. Now we have three members of that state, postus. Postus is properties of state. It is a state of state. State of post. Post state of state, object state in store. And this one, I write, just write this one. Look at this, it is date and etc. I can click like this. ID, it is a random string, what coming from function unknown. Date, title, all we have here, it is new post. And now that post there is reaction 0, all. When I click that post here, now I have must click here, post reaction added. Last one, I 3 times click on reaction added. First time, this is 1. Second time, thumbs up. Third time, 3, 1. I click again. Now here 2 and 3, this one. Get back. This is type of action. And right side is a payload. Is payload what we add to post. Payload was here. Payload was 1 new post. We have 2 posts: initial object, initial post, and now we have 3 posts. Here it is 0, 1, 2, 3 posts. 0 and 1 is initial value. Look at ID 0. We write that ID 0 and postus and here number 1 ID. But when we add true form, we have this ID, this format of ID, this format of ID. Let's get back. Post slice. Post slice. Here it is. Post added. Action creator is different than reaction added and post update. Why? Because only one times we add all posts. Here, reaction added, it is only click on some button of reaction. We have 6, 7 reaction. Every reaction is button is, and when we click on that button for 1 up, we get that reaction 1 up, and it is only part of existing post. Also, post update is updating, is edit existing post. That post exists. We only update what we want to update in that post. But that post exists. All field exists, and we only update field what we want. Reaction added, all field of the post exist, and we only add our reaction to that. It is like this, it is like this, and we create here post ID and reaction. It is destruction assignment. right side is action payload, the left side is parts of that payload. That payload, there is a post ID and there is a reaction. Because every button, every post, there is a 7 button, but we must know which post and which reaction in that post. And up for 1. We declare existing post here, declare object equal state. It is state, this state. It is state of reaction added. We will see. And that array state, we use find. We must find concretely button, and this is post ID equal post ID. And if existing post dot reaction plus plus. It means +1. And here we know value +1. We know value. Here state will be, for example, 3, and after our click on that button will be 4. About that state, every button there is a state. Here is a reaction added. It is action creator, and said all about type of action. Here it is reaction plus plus. It is mutate scripting, mutate, but IMER library will write a script instead of us that will immutable kind, by immutable kind, mutate that reaction. And that immutable kind, because of immutable kind of mutate state, we know history. We know here history. We know what was before. When we click on some action, type of action. Let's go back to script, and also post update. Same construction of post update. We declare destruction assignment, and we see that destruction assignment very popular, and we save at least 4 statement in other language, not kind of Redux, not kind of React. We will have 3 row declaration, ID variable declaration title and declaration content. 3 row, 3 equation, 3 statement. But now we have only 1 statement, 1 row, because left is 3 variable and right is assignment, action payload, ID, title, content. And here it is. And here it is all scripting about what is it, about find post, and after find post, existing post is concretely post, and that post there is a title and there is a content. we only update title and content. We don't update other field of post. And add, post added, there is a two function reducer as all others. All others, there state action, reducer is function. Here they have a reducer because here must say reducer. Reducer is a keyword like prepare keyword, key function, grammar function. We cannot call anything reducer because reducer is a reserved word in React, in JavaScript. And post added, there is a two function reducer. One is reducer where we must say script what to do with payload. Payload push to state. What is state? Post. There is an initial post, two post in array. State is array of post. And new post will be push to that array. Array with 2 members will be array with 3 members. But all that will be immutable kind. Stay behind 2 initial and get a new state with 3 post, etc. And prepare, because we write in form only what we need write. Here it is. In form, we must write title. We must choose here author, and we must type content. All other field, ID, date, we don't need. Reaction, we don't need type. It will be by prepare added. By prepare, it will be all together in payload. And look at here. Prepare. We write title, content, and user ID. But return will be ID, date, our title, what we type, content, user ID, reactions, all that reactions will be in payload, and it is prepare. It is prepare. Function of prepare is payload, create complete payload. ID is a nanoid function. That function coming with Redux Redux toolkit. Here it is, nanoid, function nanoid, Redux toolkit. And that function create a random string. Possibility to have two times same random string is for our life impossible. Here it is, and we have object post slice with name of post slice, and all that in what I teach you now. Here it is post slice, and other part about React component. I'm telling in before series of video. Last series about video, it was a series, I call it developer UI architect. Developer UI architect. 1, 2, 3, etc. video. But for this video I will stop here and see you next time. Thank you for watching this video. Click like if you like, share if you like share, comment, any your engagement grow value of this video and our community around that video. Thank you for watching this video.